Greetings, fellow Americans. Susanna for President 2028. Welcome to the 2025 edition of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's Fireside Chats. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. The first thing is the Festivus report that Senator Rand Paul released. I believe it was just this last week. So I looked through it. I've done a little bit of research, and there are some things that I would like to address about this report. Some things I agree with, some things I'm okay with. The first thing is addressing ghost towns. If it is indeed true that we are putting so much money towards these buildings that are largely unoccupied, unused, I have to say that's unacceptable. That is a serious waste of our taxpayer dollars. And $10 billion is a lot of money. In some fashion or another, it needs to be redistributed to the general population of the United States, whether it's helping with homelessness or hunger or any other issues with poverty, helping people go to school, get jobs, something, healthcare, anything like that. Our $10 billion just from that right there, it's a lot of money. It's unacceptable to waste money like that. It needs to support the community, and that's the baseline. There are plenty of options. The next one I want to address, I guess there was a Florida man that stole something like $8 million in COVID relief funds to buy an island, amongst other things. So this is really also unacceptable, and there needs to be a way to hold this man accountable for fraud. We held Donald Trump accountable for fraud. It's justice. It's fair. These relief funds were meant to go to the general population, not some individual on a get-rich-quick scheme. There should be potential jail time for that, especially considering the type of money that was stolen. He should be made to pay it back, one way or another. It needs to be returned to the public. Another one that is listed in the Festivus report is that the Department of Interior spent $12 million in Las Vegas on a pickleball complex. Okay, there's a couple of things about this. So I understand that pickleball is part of our recreational aspect of our nation. However, $12 million is way too much money for a complex like that. There's no reason why a pickleball complex should be that expensive ever. There needs to be clear indications as well as how that money is going to be earned back. There's no way that it shows, excuse me, this in the reports that I've seen. And that's pretty unacceptable. $12 million could have gone to something completely different that would have supported our nation in the recreation aspect. Something like making sure that a school is up to code, that making sure that our students have gear, different things they need for their recreational activities, making sure that we have plenty of different resources that people can use for different support agencies in our nation. There's a lot of different options there for $12 million. And that's beginning to add up very quickly. So we have 10 million plus 12 million plus 8 million right now. And that's just the first three. So that's a lot of money for our money to be wasted like that. We got to think about how we're spending, what we're authorizing our money to be spent on. I know that some of it doesn't always come to us, but if we do have a problem with it, we need to speak up about it. It's important to do that. How are we supposed to govern if we don't speak up about it? We are the government. We, the people, are the government. All right, the next one. The Department of State apparently spent $4.8 million on influencers. I have a little bit of an issue with this because there's not enough information. I would want to know, first of all, what are those influencers doing? What are they meant to be influencing? Who are they meant to be influencing? What is the subject matter of their influence? I am very concerned about this type of stuff, considering the mental health issues we have with our nation right now and the social media issues that we have. So this is very, very concerning. However, I'm not opposed to it exactly. Influencing people in the right direction is not a wrong thing, but we need to make sure that our money is being put to good use. I'm the one that I want to know what kind of return on my investment I'm getting. If we're going to invest $4.8 million on influencers, then we need to make sure that they are influencing our nation in the right direction. So that is pretty significant there. There's also the Department of State spending $3 million on world-centered climate action in Brazil. I'm also not opposed to spending money on climate action in other countries. However, $3 million at this time is too much. I would cap that at $300,000 per year, and that's only temporary, because we need that money here in our nation to be able to support us, to get us on track, to make sure that we can support our neighbors, support climate action, support environmental change for the better. That's really difficult to do whenever helping another country puts us more in poverty, and it does. It's a waste of tax dollars in excess of $300,000 at this time. Another one that is from the Department of State is that they paid a Royal Film Commission $873,000 plus for movies in Jordan. Now, I do understand, like I said, the recreational aspect of our economy, and I do understand supporting stuff like this in other countries. However, that is still too much money. It's under $1 million, but it is still too much money. At this time, the cap I would offer is $300,000 per year to support anything in another country. Right now, let me see here. All right. So in Ethiopia also, the U.S. State Department spent $500,000. I'll double check on that, but $500,000 to $5 million, I believe it is, to expand the U.S. embassy in Ethiopia. So, I'm sorry, to expand the U.S. embassy in Ethiopia's U.S. invests in Ethiopia in Ethiopians. It's a hashtag. Hashtag U.S. invests in Ethiopians. Social media campaign to a larger national public relations campaign. I get why that is important, but again, I would cap it at $300,000. So, some interestingly wasteful sections here. It really bugs me that there's no real solutions added with this report. Uh, but if Americans are paying something like 892 billion in a fiscal year uh, on something like Uncle Sam's credit card, which is also in this report, you got to figure out the solution as to how we can reduce that, reduce the debt, reduce the interest rates. How do we do that? There's no real solutions here for this. Just a report of what it is. A lot of reports that I've seen from Congress and such, they include solutions. So another one, spending $7 million on magical projects for entertainment, is what I gathered from the report. Again, this is too much. It's way too much to spend on that type of a recreational project. 300,000 is definitely the cap there. It is part of the recreation aspect of our nation. We can invest more later, but right now we do need to get our nation on track. There's another one, 2.1 million for Paraguayan border security. Again, I understand why that is, why that's important, but it's another country. We need more of that money here. Not to say that we should stop supporting it. We should cap it for the moment at 300,000 in assistance. Millions are just too much. Millions take away from us as Americans. There's also a report about advancing fertilizer use in Pakistan, Vietnam, Colombia, and Brazil, and 20 million was spent on that. I understand the importance of that kind of progress. 20 million is too much to invest in another country at this time. It's just too much. And I don't think that I have to continue to say that we should cap this at 300,000 for now, temporarily. It's just unacceptable to be spending that much money in another country when we need it here so badly. There's also some reports regarding kittens, cats and kittens that are, used for motion sickness studies, being spun around, being tested with COVID experiments. This in particular seems like animal cruelty to me. So this is something that I'm opposed to. It's not okay to spend that much money to be cruel to animals. There are other ways that we can conduct these experiments that we need to develop medicines, to understand the effects of something. There are other ways to do it. Cruelty is not always the best way to get scientific results. Thank you for your time, and may our path lead to peace and prosperity.